Hey, hello, and welcome to the first JP's product pick of the week of the year 2023. Welcome. Thanks everyone for stopping by. And by everybody, I mean all of you, anyone watching, but particularly if you want to be part of the chat, head on over to the YouTube chat or to our Discord server. If you want to join that, just head to adafruit.it/discord and then look for the live broadcast chat channel. It looks like that right there. So hello Starman and Kayoshi and Todd Bott, C. Grover, Gary Z. I'm missing some other people. Jim Hendrickson, thanks everyone for stopping by. And anyone else who joins up in the chat. As well as a bunch of people over in our YouTube chat. Dave Odessa, Tackle the World, Squirrel Oak, Gordy G, hello. Thanks for stopping by all. Let's see. The next thing I want to do is I want to tell you where to go if you want to get this week's product pick of the week, if you want to get a jump start on it. You can head to this URL right here, or if you are into QR codes, you can use that one right there. That'll take you to the product page, and I'm going to go refresh mine right now. We should have, I believe it's a 50% off happening. Yes, indeed. Max 10 per customer. I think we have a bunch of these stashed, so we shouldn't run out too soon. But nevertheless, if you want to grab them, go ahead and do it. We don't need a coupon code or anything like that. They are just priced to sell. Before I say any more, what I'll do is have Lady Ada tell us all about this week's product pick. So please take it away, Lady Ada, from the past.
Okay. By request, somebody emailed in and said, could you guys make some sort of like passive hub for STEMMA QT that's very small, that's like the size of your standard STEMMA QT size? And I'm like, that's a good idea. And so we made one. So this is a board that does pretty much exactly what it sounds like. There are vertical ports to make, so you can have more than two because usually they go out the sides. There's an on LED to tell you that it's powered. But basically all the SCL, SDAs, powers and grounds are connected together. So this doesn't do like I2C address, renumbering or sharing. I mean, everything still has to be on a separate address. But if you don't want to chain your I2C, if you want to like have it be in a star formation, which one, it will reduce the capacitance of your line, which means you can run a little bit faster, but also maybe has more elegant wiring, then this board will do it. Also has breakouts if you want to use it with a breadboard, but it's designed to be used solderless, and I can just show real fast. This is just the demo. Again, you don't have to plug in 5 things, but ideally, you would have your controller, and then now you can have 5 boards. You can see each one is getting power, and then this has a power LED as well, so you know that it's working. Just a handy, couple bucks for the wiring simplicity. Some people were asking for it. It's got mounting holes, and we made it the same size as 90% of our boards are 1 inch by 0.7 inch. So you see it. If you have like mounting holes in that location, this will fit just fine.
Okay.
Passive hub.
Passive hub indeed. So this right here is the product pick of the week. Look at that little lovely cutie hub right there. Little silk screen on the back. So that right there is my product pick of the week this week. It is the 5-port STEMMA QT hub. It is a passive hub. It allows you to create a bunch of I2C devices plugged into a single microcontroller board without needing to run from sensor to sensor to sensor and create a humongous chain of them, which is pretty darn cool. And that's about all it does. It doesn't do any of the matrix address stuff. It doesn't change addresses, nothing fancy like that for you. It's just simply a neat little passive hub to plug things into. And I want to show you, let me jump to my down shooter cam here again, and I'm going to refocus it for a second. So I'll show you the kind of situation you can run into here. So let me throw that on there for refocusing purposes. Okay, so here we've got a microcontroller, it's a QT Py that has a little STEMMA QT port on it. And let's say I've got stuff like a little display and a temperature sensor and an accelerometer and a distance sensor, time of flight sensor. If I want to plug all these in, usually you'll go end to end to end to end, create a long chain of them. Some devices only have a single port on them just for space constraints, like this display here, this little OLED display. So either this has to be the last thing in your chain, or you want to use something like this hub here. So here's an example of one I put together, and I also took advantage of the mounting holes to make a neat little stack of stuff right there. Let me fix that. Focus the rest of the way there. So here you can see I've taken the hub, and then I have these 4 sensors plugged into it, and then the 5th item plugged into the hub is my cutie pie right there. So here I've got an accelerometer, a pressure sensor, a temperature and humidity sensor, and a magnetometer. So I can read the values on all of those over a single I2C bus. They all have their own unique addresses, but as far as the actual wiring of the thing, it's really nice and neat with that little hub right in the middle there. So I'm just using some nylon standoffs and screws and nuts there to hook that all together. But these could actually be stacked into a single stack depending on the types of things you're using, which makes life really nice and easy when you want to put a bunch of sensors onto a single microcontroller. If we take a look over at this view of the world here, let me bring up my text window there. Let's refresh this and reconnect to the microcontroller. So here you can see if it behaves. You know what? I might unplug and replug this. It might need to reset. There we go. So with this setup, you can just see all of these sensors in action. I've got a magnet here, so I can mess around with the magnetometer settings. You can see if I tilt this and move this, we'll get some different values on the accelerometer, and then we've got the humidity, pressure, and temperature also reading out from there. So the same as if you were to chain them all together, but we get a nice, neat little package. So if you want to take a look over at the site for this, let me jump back to this window and bring up this page. There we go. If I refresh this one, you'll see the price jump down to $1.25. So that's pretty inexpensive, and it's a nice, neat way to be able to wire up your projects centrally from sort of a hub and spoke type of arrangement, which I always like for neatness sake. And you can use some nice little short, I think I've got the 50 millimeter STEMMA QT cables there, just 5 of those that I'm using for this. And if you want to take a look also at the Learn Guide for this, there's not, excuse me, there's not a lot to it. You could figure this one out probably even without a Learn Guide, but if we take a look there, it'll show you the pinouts on these. We've got the ability to solder pins onto it if you want to attach it to a breadboard for some reason. Sometimes we'll do that even just for mechanical, a way to hook it into your project without necessarily using the screw holes. And then it's just got your standard connectors for I2C, power, ground, clock, and data. And then we've also got the usual fabrication print and fritzing object there. So you can use this inside of your fritzing projects if you want to. Let's see, what else? Not a lot else to say about it. Let's check the chat, see if anyone had any questions or thoughts. Taco the World says, yay, live demo success. Thank you. Yeah, at least it looked looks realistic when it doesn't work at first. Thankfully, plug it in and we're good. Let's see, Gordy G. So if you have 2 things with only one connector, you have to use a splitter. Yeah, so let's say for some reason you wanted to do a bunch of little readouts, and so you're using these little OLED displays. These will need some kind of a splitter for sure. And I've seen this on a lot of synthesizers where we have a bunch of these little inexpensive OLED displays underneath some knobs. You could use this type of splitter. I think these have, I think we can change addresses on these. If we can't, then you definitely are going to need something like a multiplexer. But if you have different STEMMA QT quick types of objects that have only the single connector on them, then for sure you'll want some kind of a splitter like this or hub like this. Let's see, what else? Someone said they're getting an error trying to order. I don't know what that's about, but let me know if that persists. I don't know if there's any issues. I don't think there's any issues with the site right now. Yeah, it does have the power light on it. You can see there, so that'll light up. Bring this camera view back in here. So that'll light up. What I'm going to do is actually I'll unplug this one here. Let's take this other, actually, reminder, you shouldn't be hooking I2C stuff up hot, so you should keep this unplugged. So I'll just take a STEMMA QT, QT Py, STEMMA QT port, plug that into one port on the hub, and then we can start adding. It doesn't matter which one you do, it's a passive connection, so it'll respond to any of those the same. And then I'll hook up this display right here and take another port there and plug in like that. So now if I get power on my QT Py, I don't have any code running that'll do anything interesting with these things, I don't think. But you'll see we got power running to the hub, power running to the display, and power running to this time of flight sensor. So that's how you use it, and pretty straightforward. Yeah, remember to unplug power before you go messing around with I2C, or you can get crashes and things. Okay, Kayoshi said they got the payment issue worked out, so the site should be working. Anything else? Any other questions? All right, I think that's going to do it. So head on over here. This is that's the site right there. Bring up some URLs for you. Product 6525, or rather 5625. Woo! And go pick some up. You can get up to 10 of them, and that is at half price right now through to a little bit after the show. But mostly you want to take care of that during the show. Then the show will go back up to full price. Particularly if you want to buy a bunch of them, it's a really terrific savings. To go along with all of your great quick and STEMMA QT types of sensors and breakouts. I think that's going to do it then. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Where'd mine go? Let me pull one. I'll leave some cables on it right there. That right there is my product pick of the week. It is the STEMMA QT and Quick 5-port hub. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Don't forget we have our, I believe we have 3D Hangouts tomorrow morning. We have Show and Tell if you want to come on and show your projects tomorrow evening at 7:30 Eastern Time. And then we are expecting to have the triumphant return of Phil and Lamore for the Ask an Engineer show at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, pending caregivers for babies and such, but that's the plan. So thanks, come on by and watch that show. We're excited to have that back in its regular time slot. And then I'll be doing my workshop show on Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks everyone. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park, and this is Headed Up. And this has been JP's product pick of the week. Bye-bye.